Planning and Zoning Committee. Do I need to start again?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. Planning and Zoning Committees, November 4th at 10:23 a.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Could we do a roll call, please?
Hughes.
Yeah.
Bard.
Yeah.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Perkinson.
Yes. And we are missing Geiger, and McGinnis is hopefully joining us. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
Second.
Okay, Hughes and Whitlow have moved and seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, the agenda is approved. Do we have any public comments today? Anyone like to speak before the meeting? Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for being here. I assume everyone has had a chance to approve the claims. If I could I get a motion to approve the claims, please?
So moved.
Second. And Whitlow and Barr. Is there any discussion? Okay, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Hughes.
Yeah.
Bard.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Perkinson.
Yes. The next item on the agenda is a report from our planning and zoning administrator. She has an appointment this morning and will probably be here just a little bit later, so we'll just move that on the agenda to a time that fits when she returns or if she arrives here. Next, we have discussion and action regarding the CUP application for Ranger Power to Road Solar to determine if the application that's been submitted can be deemed complete and moved on to planning and zoning.
Yes. Thanks, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Back again.
You are.
The
That stack seems a little larger than the normal one.
yeah, they're a little bigger this time. So Ranger Power submitted an application for a project called Two Roads Solar. The project's a pretty large project, it's about 4,500 acres. It's 398 megawatts, I believe. It spans over a couple of townships. They've submitted the application. As Kathy mentioned, our purpose today is just to determine whether the application is complete and ready to go to a public hearing. So to distill it down in a very brief overview is, I would say it's ready to be heard. It's ready to go to the public hearing before the zoning board. There was a couple things that I didn't see in the application that I asked them about. They supplemented with those materials. One was an overall site plan. It turned out it was actually in the hard copy, but the electronic version I had didn't have it in there, but that got all corrected and fixed. There are two variance requests that they have. There's two other items that they need to address. One is the interconnect agreement and the other is a drain tile survey. Both of those, in order for the application to proceed, they have to file a variance of those issues. Both of them, just so you understand, if the project goes through, they'll at some point prior to the building permit have to have a drain tile survey in place, and they would have to have an interconnect in place, and they would have to work with any drainage districts that are in that area. It's a very large project, so those two variances probably make sense, but it's up to the zoning board and the county board to approve or not approve those variances. But
Established that everybody has to be a member of jury now, right? Correct?
correct. And so in order for it to be considered complete and ready for hearing, they have to file those variance requests. I believe they filed the one for interconnect previously, and I think they just maybe filed the one for the drainage tile survey today. Keep in mind, those things don't excuse them from having to do it. It's just they would be pushing them to the requirement to have those all complete for the building permit would be issued. So, we've had some smaller projects come that didn't have the drain tile survey. And for them, we've said, look, you got to do the drain tile survey because there's no reason you can't do that on a 20-acre parcel in a couple of months and give it to us in a month or so. This is 4,500 acres, and they're trying to get a local contractor to come and do it. So they want to be able to utilize that to do the drain tile survey. Plus, it's a costly item to do if you're going to be doing it before you know you have an approval, a special use approval. So, and again, all those two variances would be doing, even if they're granted, is pushing them to the building permit phase. So it's not that they get excused, they don't have to do it. They have to do it. It's just that they're doing it at the building permit stage. Otherwise, the application is complete. I think it's ready to be heard, so we have to set a public hearing for it and work with the zoning board to find that public hearing date, and then all the notices will go out, and anyone can come and present any information for it in relation to it.
Does anybody have any questions for Andy?
So in other words, we can okay it today and with the understanding that they will further down the line before they get a building permit, provide us with a drainage tile
Yep.
mapping.
Yep, and all you're doing is, at this juncture, because you guys want to go through the process of having the committee determine whether the application is complete. Most counties don't do that, which is okay, but most counties would have probably already set it for hearing. But because of this process, we come to the committee, we tell you what's in the application, if it's ready to be heard. But yes, to answer your question, yes, but this is just to say, set it for hearing.
Any other questions?
I do want to talk to you, but not about this.
Okay,
ZBA.
okay,
Okay,
gotcha.
thank you. So could I please entertain a motion to deem complete the application for conditional use permit of Ranger Power 2 Road Solar? So deem it complete for public hearing.
Deem it complete.
Move it on
Yeah.
to the ZBA.
And it's not making, just so everybody knows, you're not making a motion that you're approving it, you're not making a motion.
Just
to
deem
substitute.
it
Send it to
complete.
ZBA.
It's ready to
The
be sent to the ZBA.
application.
Variance is that.
I move to send it to ZBA.
Is there a second, please?
Second.
Okay. Motion was made by McGinnis and seconded by Whitlow. We have a roll call vote for this. Hughes? Barr?
Yes.
McGinnis?
Yes.
Presley?
Yes.
Ferguson? Yes.
That's all I got for you.
Okay.
Do you know when the zoning ZBA meeting would be?
No, we gotta work with Julie, she's got
Okay.
the ZBA members.
Make sure that's, okay, that's all.
Yep.
Minimum.
Any time to read, they got a big stack to review, so they're reading all the
Yeah.
time.
Light reading.
Yeah.
With the thing that builds, the last minute midnight
Yep.
session. Any concerns, I think so far. I mean, I've been trying to figure it out, but.
Yeah, we're waiting on the governor to sign. Once they sign it, which we're pretty confident they will,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to amend a couple of your ordinances. Actually, we'll have to amend all of your ordinances. There's pretty significant changes in the battery storage one.
Yeah.
There are some changes to the wind and solar one that we'll have to do in relation to fees and a few other things. There's also a new appeal procedure that was worked into that is gonna be very different. I would suspect that somebody is probably going to challenge that appeal procedure at some point of juncture, but we don't know. Probably what we're going to do is through the association kind of board members, we'll probably put together a draft model ordinance for people to utilize. But just so everybody understands, the law is, not that the state was giving you much authority before, but they're carving a little more away, especially in the battery storage world. It's also going to put in some time limits as to when we have to call these things up for hearing and conclude them.
That's what I was listening to.
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge because the way the statute works now is you have 60 days to start the hearing, and then take as long as you need to get through that public hearing on the ZBA. Statute's changing to where it now is going to say you have 60 days to complete the hearing. That's a rocket docket, if you will, for the time you get an application to get your volunteer ZBA members all together at mutually agreeable dates to be able to do that on purpose. And so, yeah, and I can't remember, I think Iroquois, I'm not sure you guys have alternates on your ZBA. I can't remember.
No.
If
I don't
that's-
think so.
It's one thing we might want to
I
consider.
don't think we do anymore.
We did. I don't
We
know.
did,
I
yeah.
think we can. I don't know if we have it filmed.
Yeah, so you may want to consider whether you want to have alternates because it'll get challenging to get all of those hearings done within that time frame. Especially large ones like this, which won't get done in a night, right? So it'll probably be, 2 or 3 nights to get through it all. So that's one thing we'll probably have to consider, but we'll be in touch about what we need to switch up in the ordinances. The battery storage one will require quite a bit of change. The wind and solar ones require change. We'll explain all that.
So if you could project, when do you think we're dealing with ordinance changes? Is that yet this year? Is it?
I would say it's first quarter of next year.
Okay,
I didn't mean to cut you off. It's probably the first quarter of next year because governor's got to sign it. Usually what we do is we coordinate with the Farm Bureau and Association of County Board members and come up with what is a workable model ordinance. There's of all things, there's a one-word change that might have a very significant impact on how we address them. So maybe we'll talk about that another day. 'Cause I'm not
Yeah.
talking bad.
I just want to know because everything I'm reading is
It's not
Yeah.
not good for the counties. It doesn't give you much authority.
UCCI.
Is that what we don't want?
yeah.
And it wasn't good. But that brings back my question, what I was talking about, this is, we have these meetings, and we have take a vote as to whether to send it to the county board. And then the county board votes on it. But there's really nothing that anybody can vote against, is that correct?
It wouldn't say it quite that black and white.
Suppose we did send something to the county board.
that way.
Does that give the energy company the right to take us to court then, or how does that happen? Because that's what the chairman's concerned about.
Yeah, procedurally, all applications that get filed and are completed and go to the ZBA should eventually get to the county board. The question really becomes, what is the authority of the county board when it gets to that level? Which is I'm going to say it's not a black and white answer, I'll put it that way. Previously, so before 2023, you had a fairly open-ended discretion as to how you were going to address them in the ordinance and how you were going to make decisions based on that ordinance and their application. After 2023, the state put in these guidelines, guardrails, if you will.
Took it over.
Yeah, and they essentially mandated to the county, we want these guardrails in place. These are the provisions you can have in your ordinance, and if they comply with that ordinance, you have to approve it, is what the statute says. Now, there's some overarching body of case law that does influence that from the Illinois Supreme Court, which says we can consider these factors when considering a special use. Those have always traditionally, in my opinion, still apply. And so you still had some discretion within how you addressed it within those factors. The question now is, or will be, on the new statute, is do those factors, can you still apply those factors? And if not, it will become just a checklist. They have all the items there, they're supposed to approve it. So the new statute may narrow that discretion a bit further. Now, on the back end of projects, I typically tell people, look, even before the statutory change, if you developed an ordinance that allowed for a use, and so they came in and met your ordinance requirements even before the statutory change in 2023, the law basically said you're supposed to approve it. If you develop an ordinance that says this is what we want you to do, and they come on and do what you told them you want them to do, then you're supposed to approve the project. Now that's even a little more tighter, narrower lane of discretion now, and probably going to get narrower with this new statute, assuming it's time, which I assume it will. Your real authority comes on how you govern the project once it's built. So when you see the conditions like weed management or road use or decommissioning things, those are really where most of your discretion lies. The approval, whether you approve it or not, the state has narrowed your discretion. But on the back end, how you handle the project in terms of reports you want from them or whether things are being done correctly on the ordinance, that's really where your discretion really lies in enforcement. So to answer your question, it's not a black and white answer, but your discretion is fairly narrow.
Well, I know that the current chairman of the county board was very concerned that the Lewis Creek project, which came up at the meeting last month, the county board, that it passed from the standpoint that he mentioned Grundy County, that they had denied zoning application to some outfit and had been taken to court, and it cost the county a big amount of money.
Yeah, one thing I'll tell you, the Lewis Creek one's a little bit unique. So that one, the county board hasn't denied it. The county board will send it back to the ZBA for more evidence. But the uniqueness of that one is that there's a drainage district, a large drainage district tile that runs right underneath the battery storage, which causes a concern of.
Oh, maybe I missed, like, I was thinking of the one north, but I guess that's Commerce Street is what I was thinking.
Commerce Street Solar, I believe that one got approved, right?
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking.
Okay, yeah, that one met all your requirements, it should have been approved.
Yeah, and I think what Paul was trying to just reiterate to us is that if the applicant has met all the requirements of our ordinance, we really have no basis to deny.
Yeah,
And that doesn't mean members can't vote no, but we really
As long as
have
the
no
majority vote.
overall basis
approve,
to deny the application, or there could be issues. So I think that's what he was, I don't think he was trying to remind,
Any building permit.
you know, yeah, it's, yes.
Yeah, but the Lewis Creek one, by the way, the engineers are working through that with the drainage district.
Yes,
And my understanding is they're figuring out how to handle that situation. In my opinion, they need to figure that Lewis Creek probably needed to know this before, but during the hearing, that's what came up. And that one is a little bit unique because the drain tile goes under the battery storage. If it was just under the solar, it probably is solvable easily, but if it's running under the solar or under the battery storage, because of the weight of those, they're about 100,000 plus pounds. If you have to access the drain tile, you're going to have a problem because you can't just go move 100,000 pound piece of equipment easily. So, or expeditiously. So anyway, they're working
or
through that.
support it while you tunnel underneath.
Yeah. So they're working through that, and once they've figured that out and our engineer's comfortable with it, it'll go back to the CPA. So.
Is that 4,800 acres all together, or is it?
There's probably a few parcels that are not participating that are sort of near within that footprint, but most of it is a fairly solid footprint. By the way, the developers here, if they wanted to chime in on that, but I believe that footprint for this one is relatively, I would say, solid instead of looking like a Swiss cheese. All right.
Confirm.
Other counties, I talked to a couple of them, Vermillion County and Ford County. Yeah, there are other counties in addition to this one that you represent. I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, we represent about 30 counties altogether. In relation to this, and probably closer to 40 or 50, all sorts of other things, whether it's collective bargaining or big topic. All right, well, I will take
We're on the
all.
clock with Andy,
Yeah.
so if there's any other questions, feel free to ask them.
No, you're all good. I'll disappear and I'll see you probably next month or the month after that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, see you guys.
I have some information from Anita Reichert about the Lewis Creek. An update,
Can we do that under old business? Do you mind?
and I was just gonna tell you what
Okay.
information she's found out.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
It's not on the agenda, so I will make that an old business item.
Okay.
We voted on that, didn't we? It was so long
Yeah.
ago, and then we started asking, okay.
Yeah, I asked you a question. Sorry.
It's like a
I asked a
question
question on the
questions or
law,
did you-
just passed.
Okay, okay.
Wrong side.
Yes, and I think that covers
That-
all
that-
of that.
yeah.
That would be the discussion that we just had with Andy, is
Yeah.
what else do we have going on? Okay, so I would say item 7 has been covered. Update on floodplain ordinance violation, that's the Ameren issue. So engineers, attorneys, this is just a quick update. Engineers and attorneys have all reviewed the documents, and there appears to be an understanding. So they're in the final stages of documentation on that. So that's the only update that I have on that. But Doug has, Geiger has confirmed that they're getting close to reaching that solution and making sure they have everything squared away there. Next is planning and zoning chairman comments. I really don't have any other item, just there's, a lot coming towards us, so I appreciate everybody's patience in dealing with all the paperwork that we get and attending the ZBA meetings if and when you can. I recommend you do that if you have the ability to, just to keep informed of what's coming before the committee. Now, under old business, Mr. Teskey, would you like to make a presentation?
Can I do it from here?
You can.
Okay, so we're here for Artesian Mutual Drainage District 1. And Anita Reichert just wanted to kind of update you that they're gonna have their annual meeting for the district soon with their lawyer, Kyle Lemke's. And number 2, she said that how do you say that,
Yes.
Allium Renewable Energy
Oh,
apparently has new plans for the location of the battery storage, but the district has not seen the new plans yet.
okay.
So they've said they're gonna move it, but they haven't presented the plans to the
Okay.
district yet, so.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for the Teskies or? Thank you. Moving on to new business, the only item of new business I have is our meeting time for next month. So Health Committee next month meets before us and has been running a little over, actually has a longer agenda next month. So they've asked if we could move our meeting to 9 o'clock and then allow them to meet at 10. And we'll probably be nice and try to get done by 10. But that allows them to have,
Yeah, we have a lot.
I'd like to say an indefinite time period, but for men and others who need to sit through all that, I won't call it indefinite. So is it okay with everyone here if we allow a change in the meeting schedule and meet at 9 a.m.? I don't think we need enough.
Yeah.
It'll be on the calendar that
Yeah.
you get next week, so refer to your calendar, update your calendar.
Get up at 5:30.
And it'll be on the website. It'll be on the website, it'll be on your agenda. If you need me to call you tonight for remind you, I'll be happy to do that.
Our board, we want to go through some of the fees.
And no, we do not want to do that. We do not want to do that.
Good point.
We trust you. Is there any other business that anybody would like to discuss? Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Okay. Mr. Hughes, is there a second? Okay, Roger. Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you much, gentlemen.
Yeah.